Hello, and thanks for tuning in to my very first Minecraft video on YouTube. My name is Alex Kidd. What I'm going to be doing today for you is demonstrating how to build something I like to call the Minecart deployment system, aka Joe Hills is in trouble and needs yet more armor and more swords. So hope Joe Hills likes that shout out there. He seems to be the kind of a nice feller and could take a joke. But this system is based on something I saw in his episode number 260, where he started a similar system but did not finish it. So hopefully he finds this tutorial helpful in his adventures. Let's get started. Okay, to start out building this system, we're just going to build basically your run-of-the-mill minecart track. I'm just going to make a short one here. And we will talk about all of the different little trickery that you're going to need to run into. Surprisingly, it's not extremely obvious. At least you couldn't do just a video without explaining a little bit about redstone because of the way the bent tracks work. I managed to get a track down in there and didn't want it. Okay, so we have some track here. Go put a little more. Actually, we need to put stations at each end, so that means 2 powered rails. We need some blocks and a button, and that would power my minecart there. I will sprint to the other end and fill in. So yeah, there's a couple of best practices, little tips to make this work, because you don't always want those little pesky dispensers giving you stuff every time. So we'll stick another station here that powers our minecart on to the end of the distance. We will call this our source, or like a home base here. So this is where you're usually going to start, and therefore as you're leaving your home base you would want your dispensers here to give you the items that you need on your adventure. So I will do that now. I need to get some dispensers. And as you can see here, I'm using the creative mode in Minecraft. I don't normally play the game this way. I just use it for building contraptions and cool things to learn how the game plays, and that way I don't waste lots of resources doing so. Okay, so we have 3 dispensers, and what dispensers do is that they actually distribute items in these storage bins, or little storage areas here, one at a time, randomly. And of course the guys who design these adventure maps, like Vetches, and they use them actually to dispense arrows, which will dispense with you if you aren't careful. So in this example, I've just placed some colored wool in each of them. That's really soft and fluffy, so when it hits us, we're not gonna die. Okay, so before I do that though, I need to talk about how these dispensers are fired. You actually want what's called a detector rail here. This acts like a pressure pad for minecarts. So as a minecart travels across it, it will fire off redstone power to some device. But while I'm designing this, I'll actually just show you. I'm going to use just a little wooden pressure pad so I can walk like I'm a minecart. Actually, testing with the minecart is the last thing you do because it's a pain to design with it. So as my minecart is going across, it's going to push these buttons, which will then need to power the dispensers, and they do that by redstone. So you just stick a redstone line there, and there, and there, and now as I go across, you can see wool, wool, wool. Okay, so now we've got our design. We go down here, we're happy, we're adventuring, and here's where the fun gets started. Because once you get to the destination, you may actually be successful in your mission. And when you come home, you don't need more armor or various things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to create a secondary path, or a separate return path. And you do that by bending some minecart track. And I'm going to make this 3 spaces away from the main track, or the path that you take as you're going through here normally. And then you want to come back this way, and again we break that and it becomes a bent track. So here's where the tricky part starts. If you place a minecart track and Minecraft bends it, it bends it based on the tracks that it sees there, and so therefore it will bend the direction needed. So for example, but it does it just based upon the environment. So if I put one there, then here you can see it bends toward me. If I kill those, put a piece behind it, and then put it, then it bends away. And you'd normally want that, but a minecart track that is redstone powered, which means that it will change directions, and I'll show that real quick. So if you place a redstone torch right below the track, okay, you can see that this redstone torch is now on and is powering that block right above it, which is where the bent track gets its power from. And you noticed how the track actually did not bend at that point. So if I kill that that redstone torch, right there, you'll see that it bends back. And of course, that's not the direction it was before. This is because this is like a neutral state for that bent track, and that's how redstone works. So if you actually look in your F3 menu, the debug, you can actually see your character has an F position. That's the direction that your player's pointed. So I'm looking in a position 2, direction 2 right now. If I turn left, that changes to 1. If I change behind me, that's a 0. If I change to the last direction, that's a 3. So I've found that position 1 and position 2, these two directions here, do not require an extra inversion, because your cart wants to go this way, and then it's going to hop over onto this track and then go straight. And then of course it comes here, and I need to get that correct. Oops. And it's going to just keep going straight again. It'll hop again. So the path out will be correct, but on the way back you'll actually end up turning right, going down the alternate path, and then right here you need something to switch that track to go back toward home base. So again, I'm going to use a pressure plate just for demonstration. And then I will dig underneath it. We just need a small area because this is the direction, again, that does not require that extra inversion. Some people call these NOT gates. A NOT gate is a programming type of term involving that redstone being powered from this. That redstone torch will make a inversion or an opposite of what is being fed to it. So basically you can see that the redstone torch is on right now. When I press the pressure plate above, it will power this redstone line, feed into that block right there, and then this redstone torch will go off. And also I need to point out that it's important that you put it down one block below so that it's feeding into the block, because that's where the input is on the redstone torch. If you were to place it, for example, above, like right here, you're trying to feed into the redstone torch, but you're actually ending up getting a feed off of the redstone torch, and therefore the line becomes powered by the redstone. Not what we want. So we're going this way, that way it goes in as opposed to out. Okay, so and now as a demonstration you can see that as my minecart would come back, it's going to turn right and we'll go back home base. Let me change the time and turn off that debug. So this is an example of the system as it would normally work. You go straight down through here, you get your wool and your armor, your equipment, then you're going to come back on your way back, and you will then turn and push this button, and your minecart will go back to home base, and you'll be done without getting all that extra armor on the way back. So as I was pointing out earlier, you need like a second inversion if your player is going from the source across that path on a 0 or 3. So I'm going to point a direction of 3 right now. Place a couple of tracks here. Okay. And the rain is bothering us again. So again, we're going to have a pressure plate here. This is the path back Oops. Alright, yeah, put it there. Alright, so that's what will be powered. And in order to get this track right here to bend the correct direction, when I'm pointed in a 0 or 3, I need a 3 by 3 space down here. Right here. Dig those out. So now we're going to create the same thing we had before, which is a redstone torch. But because of that natural state we were talking about earlier, that now is bent the wrong direction. So you actually want it to point the other way by default when this pressure plate is not pushed. And I'll actually show. So for example, if I had put it just like the other one, this is just like the original one. If you push it, that's actually going back the opposite way. That's not what you want. So we have to add another inversion. What we do here is take out that redstone and make a NOT gate here as well. I do that by placing a redstone torch on the side of this block so that that redstone receives power from the block behind it, and then it gives off all other directions redstone power. So we'll place power here, dust here, 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 and you can see that now now that this is powered all the time, it feeds into this block, which causes this torch to go off, and as you can see above, the track is now going from home base the correct way, and on the way back, I place power here, which then turns off the redstone power to the other torch, which causes it to come on and feed me back to home base. So just keep that in mind when you're building those tracks. Again, that's 0 or 3 requires the second inversion. If you're doing a 1 or a 2, no extra inversion required. So, of course, fill these back in when you have time. Last thing you want to do, obviously, is put the correct detector rails down for testing. And, of course, use. I'll stick down a minecart here. And that should be here. Don't need any more dispensers. Throw it down, jump in, and push the button on. We're on our way. We've got all of our items. Now we're at our destination. We will go push off again. We're on our way back. See, we're going to turn to the right. We're going to avoid all of the dispensers, and the detector rail pushes and turns so that we come back to home base. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully you understand it. This is, again, probably not done the first time. I've gotten inspiration from many people, watched lots of YouTube videos from different people, but I just haven't seen anybody do it other than Joe Hills, and so I give him as much credit as I can. If he sees this video and had actually seen it somewhere else, then more power to him. Please comment below. And of course, if you've seen it, comment below as well. Tell me where it came from, because I would like to, see that video and see if that guy did it a better way than I did, and for the betterment of the community. So everybody have fun and keep on playing Minecraft.